は呪われている。豪華七部会の完全撤廃。アラバスタ王国にまつわる事件。革命軍のマリジュア潜入と。その件は置いておけ。
It was in One Piece chapter 233 that the iconic five elders were revealed, and that was over a decade and a half ago, and the Gorosei for the most part have been stuck to their desks, literally complaining about the changing times, and worrying about the possibility of someone discovering the details of what happened during the Void Century. For over a decade and a half, we never saw them, no, not even once, make landfall on any of the islands located in the world of One Piece. But with the current state of affairs, the rebellions by many nations, the revolutionary army's attack on Marriagewall, the depletion of the food supplies of the Celestial Dragons, as well as their funds, the growing influence of Marshal D. Teach, and Monkey D. Luffy, Kaido, and Big Mom's surprising defeats. We already knew that it was just a matter of time before these guys eventually would have to descend to enact judgment on those whom they view as threats to their authority, and those who threaten the existence of the institution known as the world government. So, for the first time in the story, a member of the Gorosei has made landfall on an island of the world. And my, oh my, what an introduction it was. Do you love Saturn's devil fruit power? Let us know by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. This really does help the channel grow and helps us to reach out to a larger audience. Without further ado, let us talk about the chapter. The chapter straight up begins with the Marks III pacifistas yielding to Atlas's order and immediately overpowering the Navy soldiers. This was to be expected, as the Vegapunks assumed that they commanded the highest authority over the Marks III pacifista. Bonnie, who was initially surrounded and in bad shape last chapter, ended up having an easier time fighting against the Navy soldiers, as this time she got back up from the pacifistas. The Navy soldiers noticed that Vegapunk was descending from the Frontier Dome using the Vega tank. We know that the main reason why Vegapunk decided to return to the Fabirio phase was to save Bonnie.
この声は美女の声。
Sanji immediately found Bonnie using his lady's radar. For a moment, I had to smile at the name that Oda chose for this move. I think it is fitting for Sanji, since we've already grown accustomed to this move. That said, I do wonder how he does this. Is he just sensing the presence of whoever he is looking for? Or is he actually seeing the aura of whomever he is searching for? If he can see the aura, then that would mean this skill would be similar to that which we saw in Dressrosa from Usopp. Thanks to this skill, he could pinpoint her exact location, and decided to go on ahead. He saved her in the nick of time, as Bonnie was having a hard time fighting two vice admirals and some Navy soldiers. If anything, I believe this chapter showed us that Bonnie is quite capable herself and is strong enough to be called a supernova. One of her opponents was Vice Admiral Bluegrass. She has a pretty broken devil fruit, which is the stick fruit. This enables her to apparently control anything that she sticks on. This devil fruit ability would be extremely broken if it allows her to control humans as well. The fact that she is using a headset could be telling of a limitation of her devil fruit ability. She might be using this headset to listen to the internal monologues of the pacifista under her control and altering them so that she acts as the pacifista's control center. The other vice admiral wields a long spear with a massive shell at the tip. His name was not revealed, but he does seem to be very strong. Because Bluegrass had taken over a Marks III pacifista, Bonnie could literally do nothing against her. The fact that Bonnie keeps spacing out when she sees pacifistas was quite worrying. After all, these cyborgs were modeled after her dad. I think this, together with all of the evidence we've seen so far, points out at Bonnie being younger than she would actually appear to be. Against the Navy soldiers, Bonnie used a move called Near-Death Experience. This move seems to be perception-based. By pointing a gun in the direction of the Navy soldiers, she does seem capable, using the power of her devil fruit ability to alter the senses of the soldiers, making them believe that they had been shot, thus knocking them out. Vice Admiral Bluegrass, having witnessed this ability, ushered the Marks III pacifista to attack her, hoping that if she could kill Bonnie, this would free the Navy soldiers from the effect of her devil fruit ability. The fact that Bonnie's fruit might have effects on the senses might mean the whole community might have misunderstood the real nature of Jewelry Bonnie's abilities. Even though she was saved in the nick of time by Sanji, they weren't out of danger yet, as the spear-wielding Vice Admiral followed through with another attack. Sanji did dodge the attack but urged that they should prioritize escape for now. In the research level, Luffy was still fighting Kizaru, and both fighters seemed to be tiring, but Kizaru seemed to be the more tired one of the two. He decided to just leave, as he wanted to focus on his mission. Saturn then made his move by issuing a command to all pacifistas, thus overriding Atlas's command. This shocked her, as all the pacifistas stopped defending them. Sanji's quick wits and evasion skills enabled Bonnie to be rescued, and they all rejoined Grandpa Punk in the good old Vega tank. Saturn's presence caused all the strong fighters, Lucci, Luffy, Kizaru, Zoro, Sanji, and even the vice admirals, to notice that someone powerful was in the vicinity. Atlas was still wondering why the pacifistas stopped. A magic circle appeared in the Faberio phase. The message was then transmitted to all Navy soldiers on the island that the Gorosei, Saint Saturn, was landing on Egghead Island, and all low-ranking Navy soldiers were not allowed to see him. It was at that moment that Vegapunk realized that the Gorosei are on their way to the island. Kizaru appeared and tried to destroy the Vega tank, but missed. However, he did succeed to destroy the Cloud Road. He tried to destroy the tank once more, but was interrupted by Luffy, who used a new move called White Star Gun, and this actually hit Kizaru on the head, sending him flying. Luffy also appeared to be drained of energy and fell off, but he was spotted by Saturn, who immediately recognized him as Nika. Saturn had finally appeared on Egghead, and the moment he spotted a low-ranking Navy soldier looking at him, he immediately caused his head to explode. Many in the community are under the impression that this ability is a hacky thing, where the weak-willed cannot stand his presence. I do not think that is the case. I rather believe that it is a passive ability of his Devil Fruit power. Saturn's Devil Fruit seems to be a mythical Zoan model Ushi Oni. The Ushi Oni is a yokai from the folklore of Western Japan. Their appearance varies, mainly based on geographical location. They usually have an ox's head with sharp upward curving horns, wicked fangs, and a slender tongue. Their body is most commonly depicted as spider-like with 6 legs and long singular claws at the end of each appendage. This was very fitting, since all of these descriptions perfectly matched Saturn's appearance. The fact that he had the clouds around his body definitely implied that Saturn had awakened his Devil Fruit power. With the Cloud Road destroyed by Kizaru, the Vega tank fell down and got destroyed beside Saturn. Stella was shocked to find out that Saturn was the member of the Gorosei that came to the island. Saturn was displeased because he thought Vegapunk should have been killed by now. Bonnie recalled something she had seen in Kuma's memories. It appears Saturn was most probably the one who issued the order that Kuma's memories be completely erased. Vegapunk did not really want to go through with it, but was forced to do so. Enraged, Bonnie immediately took a sword and stabbed Saturn. Given that this might have been one of the first times that Saturn has bled for over 900 years, it is very possible that he will definitely want to kill Bonnie. This would open up the window of opportunity for Kuma to return. I already made a video on Kuma's past and what might have happened to him. I still believe it does tie to the Godvalley incident. The links to this video are available in the comments section. In a nutshell, what I believe is that Kuma is a slave who escaped 38 years ago from Godvalley, when the Rocks pirates attacked Godvalley. I think this is also the reason why Saturn wanted all of Kuma's memories to be erased. As a former slave, possibly from Godvalley, he knew way too much, thus he needed to be executed. The problem, however, was that even Saturn recognized Kuma's strength, and also the fact that he was possibly the last surviving member of his race. Since Vegapunk needed a lab rat for his experiments, Saturn came up with a proposition that Kuma could not refuse, especially since one of the clauses included the life of his daughter. That is why Saturn previously said that Bonnie could just be left alone, since she was just a little kid. He was maybe trying to keep his own part of the agreement. But since Bonnie stabbed him, Saturn might just decide to kill her once and for all. After all, they have no use for her and Kuma anymore. They got the Marks III Pacifista and the Seraphims now, so their presence is no longer needed. I believe Saturn will spill the beans next chapter, and Ifai's chapter will be an emotional one, as Kuma will return as well. Usopp, Nami, and Chopper are trying their best to save Stussy, who was severely injured by Rob Lucci. Hopefully, Chopper is able to administer the minimum first aid in the briefest of delays before the Straw Hats leave this island. I do not think this arc will last more than 5 to 6 more chapters, because we have finally gotten to the climax of this arc. S-Bear could do something absolutely crazy at the end of this arc. That will be the subject of discussion of another video. Thanks for watching. If you will, please like the video and share as well. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. Thanks. I am your host Sean, and I will see you guys in the next one.